One of the biggest issues of using a digital task manager is the ease at which you can get stuff into it. This results in us just throwing everything and anything into our task manager. Now that's great at a collecting point of view, but it becomes a nightmare at an organizational level, and a lot of this stuff just disappears into the depths of your task manager, never to see the light of day again. Now, if you're using Todoist, there are a number of things you can do that will create order from all this chaos. Now, I have spoken before about changing the different views that Todoist allows you to create, and there are also ways that you can organize your projects down the left-hand side sidebar. But there is one that often gets overlooked that Todoist has given us, which is their flagging system. Now, unlike many other digital task managers, Todoist gives you 4 flags. Well, really it's 3, but there is a 4th. Now these flags are basically in Todoist, they're called P1 for the most important, P2, P3 and P4. Now the P4 is no flag at all, it's just unflagged if you like, but you can actually use P4 as a designation when you're creating filters to organize your tasks. And that's the second part to this, is Todoist allows you to create filters around the flags that you are using. So today what I want to do is give you some ideas about how you can use flags to bring that order from all the chaos that can very easily build up in Todoist. So that's the background put aside. Let's start with the first idea. First up is my favorite and the one that I generally use every day, which is to use my flags in order of the time of day I want to do the task. Now there is an exception here in that P1, that's the red flag, I always use as my must do task. That's the non-negotiable task that even if I have to stay up all night, whatever those red flag tasks are, they must be done, no excuses. However, for P2, which is the orange flag, those are the tasks that I would like to do in the morning. Now, this is not a hard rule because there are so much that could change in the day. Priorities will change in the day. But what it is when I'm planning the day, I'm looking at my task list, I'm looking at my calendar, and I'm saying, right, I have more time in the morning, so I can actually flag task orange, P2, as my morning tasks. My afternoon tasks would be the blue tags. Blue flags. These are the ones that I will do in the afternoon. Now the good way of doing this is you can, because you would probably hopefully understand yourself, you know yourself. So for in my case, I know I can be focused and creative in the mornings. So anything that requires a bit of concentration and a bit of focus, I'm going to try and give that an orange flag. Anything that requires less focus and concentration, I'm probably going to give it a blue flag. And then anything that's white flagged, P4, is the stuff I would do in the evening, and it's mainly chores. So you can use the flags to designate the time of day that you are doing your work. So as I say, P1 I would always reserve as your must do, non-negotiable, must be done today task. P2, orange flag, that will be your morning tasks, and P3, the blue task, would be your afternoon task. Now the great thing about using this system is that Todoist default organization means that all your red flags will be at the top, good reminder of the things that must be done today, followed by orange, followed by blue, and finally the 0 flag or the white flag. The next idea is to use the flags for the Eisenhower matrix. Now, if you're not familiar with the Eisenhower matrix, it's basically a grid which is organized by 4 different boxes. You've got important and urgent, and important and not urgent, and then underneath you've got not important and urgent, and not important and not urgent. Now, knowing that you've got 4 boxes, you can use the flags to designate what each task means. So for example, you could use red flags for important and urgent. You could also then use the orange flags for not urgent but important, and then the blue flag for not important but urgent, and the white flag would be everything else, which would be not important, not urgent. It's a great little way of doing it, because that way you can look at your task list when you're planning the day and say, right, I haven't got enough what we call quadrant 2, that's P2, important but not urgent tasks in my day. These are the important things that often get neglected because they're not urgent but are important. Things like making sure you're getting enough movement or exercise. You're also planning ahead, looking ahead for any crises that may happen, and so on and so forth. All those kind of things can be made sure you can bring some balance into your day. And it also means you can look at your tasks and say, well, there's too many non-flagged, i.e. not important, not urgent tasks that are there that I just need to remove, either put them onto another day or, better still, delete them altogether. So that's another way, is to use the flags for the Eisenhower matrix. Okay, let's give you another one. Okay, another way to do this is for those of you who want to keep a clear barrier between your work life and your personal life. Now, this is great if you don't want to see your work tasks on a weekend, because you can use filters to filter out any work tasks if you're using the flags. Now, again, in this particular one, I would strongly recommend that you reserve the P1 red flag as your must do, whether it's personal or professional. It doesn't really matter, because there are going to be some days, perhaps like a Wednesday, where you have to book your daughter in for a dental appointment, for example, and it has to be done today. Now, that means that, dentists don't stay open until 11, 12, midnight every day. You have to do it in office hours. So I would stay in particular instance, is always keep the red flag for either work or personal. But then underneath that, you can actually use your orange flags for personal, blue flags for professional, or the other way around. But this helps you because on a weekend, if you don't want to see your work tasks, you could actually just create a filter which says all tasks except P2 or 3, whichever color you've designated your work task. That way, all you will see is your personal task. You will not see your work task. Now, of course, when you're processing your inbox, you do need to make sure you're adding the flags, because if you don't, then you're going to get everything showing up. But you can use the exclamation mark, which means not, in the filter, and that will then decide like not P2 or not P3. And that way you can just filter out anything that you don't want to see, whether it's your personal when you're at work or your professional when you're at home. So that's another way of doing it, just using flags for personal and professional. So you've got a way of filtering out anything that isn't related to whichever part of your life that you don't want to see. But there's more. Another one I particularly like is using must do, should do, could do, and then everything else. So your must do's would obviously be the red flag, your should do's would be your orange flag, and your could do's would be your blue flag. Now, the way that you're prioritizing here is obviously you're going to focus your efforts on getting those must do's done first, but then you would move on to the should do's. Now, the should do's are the ones, if you like, go back to the Eisenhower matrix, the should do's are the quadrant 2, the not urgent but important tasks, because should do's will prevent more must do's from arriving in the future, which is what I love about this system. Now, could do's is the stuff that you're doing in advance that you don't necessarily then have to do tomorrow. Now, classic example of this is usually I would write my podcast script on a Thursday. That's when I schedule it. But often it will pop up on a Wednesday as a could do, because if I can get it started on Wednesday, it means I need less time on Thursday to actually finish the podcast script. So there's often a nice little way that if I can get all my work done early on a Wednesday, it gives me perhaps an hour to get the podcast script started, and that way I have less to do on Thursday. So the could do's are great little things that you can either get something started that's going to prevent you from having to do more work the next day, particularly if the next day is looking busy with meetings or anything like that and you think, I'm going to struggle to get this done, so perhaps I can get it started on Wednesday, for example. Obviously, entirely up to you, but this way is like your must-dos absolutely have to be done, non-negotiable. Should-dos are more like the not urgent but are important, and then the could-dos are the ones that you are saving yourself time in the future. This is one of the things I love about Todoist. They give you tools that help you to bring calm from the chaos of just adding stuff all the time. Of course, like all task managers, Todoist make it very easy to collect stuff. But when it comes to the processing and organizing, that one's on you, and very few task managers will ever do it. Now, AI is suggesting that it might do, and it could do in the future. But my experiments with AI at the moment is it's not very good, and therefore you're spending equal amount of time just checking that it is correct. So if you're not trusting that AI is doing it well, I always feel it's better to just spend an extra few minutes a day just allocating the flags or labels, as I've done in the past, to just giving you some structure and some way of filtering out the noise so you can focus on what's actually important today. Now, if you want to learn more about how I use different views in the boards and lists and so on, then this video up here is the next one to watch.